Hello YouTube, it's your boy Landon of Redhead Takes, and today is a long-awaited video on what I have been thinking about the Green Bay Packers offseason has been so far and what they can do in the future. I'm no expert, I simply give my opinion about how I see, but I think the Packers, from what I've seen, are doing fine so far, just like every year. We always should temper our expectations no matter how much we think good things will happen. That way we won't be disappointed in the end. I'm just kidding. I'm really excited for the new season. First time to London. The disaster that's going to be, because why the hell are you going to play in London where people don't care about American football? They care about regular football. But anyway, Packers so far in the offseason are looking good so far. I haven't been able to get out to a practice, but I'd like to eventually around when it gets closer to preseason time to see how the rookies are doing. In the future, or this year, I will planning on doing maybe some game previews, and definitely I'll do game recaps on every game the Packers playing, maybe even the preseason. Just so I can temper people's expectations on the rookies and not throw a rookie under the bus because he makes one bad play, because all these players start out new as rookies and they all gain their foothold or they don't. But we have to give them time to develop. I think going forward, however unlikely it is, the Packers should try and sign Julio Jones, because at this point you could probably get him for a veteran minimum or maybe just a couple million, and if he doesn't work out you can cut him before the beginning of the season. But honestly, I think he'd just be a great locker room presence, which is what the Packers need with all these young rookies in there. Get around somebody that's been really successful, probably one of the arguably the best wide receiver we've seen in the NFL in the last 10 years. Yes, he's been better than Antonio Brown, simply because he hasn't been an idiot off the field. He's never had any off-field altercations as far as I can tell. But he can still run just about any route tree out there, and it would give Aaron Rodgers that somewhat replacement to Devontae. It wouldn't fully replace Devontae, obviously, because he's kind of a shell of his former self, but that's to be understandable. He is in his early 30s at this point. But I think he'd just be a great locker room presence, because he's never been a head case. He's never had any issues. I guess suppose from getting a new contract from here and there because he deserved it, and the Atlanta Falcons were kind of cheap at some points. I think he would ultimately be a better pickup than Odell Beckham Jr. Odell may be younger, and he may still have more left in the tank, but Odell is coming off a major ACL injury, which he suffered in the Super Bowl for us, and that would be his second ACL injury in the last 2-3 years. So, I mean, he still may have it, but it's hard. It's hard enough coming back from one ACL injury, let alone two in consecutive years, or 2 to 3 years. So I've heard some rumblings that he could be a front runner to go to the Packers. I don't know. I haven't heard from any mainstream sources, so I guess it could just be noise. Probably is. I mean, Odell Beckham would be a good player to have in here because of his skill, but all the head casiness and off-field issues with him are just not worth it. Not with such a young receiving core that needs good role models and not bad models. Is probably why the Packers went with Christian Watson over George Pickens, even though George Pickens may have the higher floor. Christian Watson, I've heard, sounds really good. We'll see. Like I said, well, we all have to let all these rookies develop. But from where I'm coming from, Julio Jones would just be a great addition to this team. And I know there's probably no chance it happens just because Packers don't do things like that. But if you want to make Rodgers happy and give him a target he can target more so than just focus on Lazard, who's more of a possession and short yard receiver, and Cobb, who's also a possession receiver, don't really have a deep threat per se. I mean, some of the rookies look like they could be possible deep threat, but as we all see in the past, Rodgers needs to have that wide receiver that he's comfortable with and throw to all the time, which I don't think I have to remind you is why we lost in the divisional round last year. He gets too dependent on one wide receiver. And Julio, yeah, he can be dependable, but he still probably lost a step, so we'll see. And I know he's had a lot of injuries over the last couple of years, so it's could be I mean, honestly, it wouldn't be a really risky proposition because they could just cut him. And I'm hoping that also that Sammy Watkins is able to revive his career somewhat. I think he still has some left in the tank. I mean, last year he had 269 yards on 19 attempts, and that was with Lamar Jackson as his quarterback. Yeah, I know Lamar Jackson is supposedly great, but honestly, he's good, but he will never take your team to a Super Bowl or win it all. I just don't see it. Ultimately, Julio Jones, Packers should sign. I know there's not a chance, probably no chance for it to happen, but it would be really great, and honestly, it would be a big benefit to the Packers in the development of their new wide receivers. On to other NFL news. With all these investigations coming out and all these bad goings on of owners like Daniel Snyder, who seriously, Daniel Snyder should never, I should put this out there, he should not lose his team like Donald Sterling did for the LA Clippers. That's not right. Unless he committed some awful crime, should not lose a franchise over words. I'm sorry. No matter how derogatory or hurtful it is to some people, you cannot force a guy to lose his franchise over that. It's just wrong. And honestly, Snyder should be able to keep his franchise, but honestly, even now for me, with all the stuff coming up, with all the issues they've had over the past, the cheerleader scandal, and now the whole tax evasion from both the IRS and the NFL. Don't mess with the IRS, kids. Don't mess with the IRS. He probably should lose his team. It's probably not going to happen because the NFL is a good boys club, just like all sports leagues are, and it's just toxic for a league when there's such a group. And now I've been here, so Snyder probably should lose the team just to give those fans some hope. I mean, to me, Washington will always be the Redskins. Yeah, sorry. Commanders is a terrible, terrible name. It's so sterile. And yeah, should probably lose his team. Probably won't, though. And now I've been hearing rumblings that Dean Spanos could possibly lose his team. I don't know. I'll have to read up more about that. Maybe give my take on that in a future video. Because that Chargers team have had so many good teams. I was once a fan of the Chargers and still kind of am. I still root for them to be successful because Justin Herbert is a great quarterback. And he's just up there with the up and coming quarterbacks that are going to be good for several years. The Chargers should have won a Super Bowl by now. There's been so mismanaged, and also because they ran into the Patriots. Yeah, Patriots suck. Maybe someday I will give my take on how much I hate the New England Patriots, because honestly I think the Patriots did the NFL did them so many favors over the years. Also, their shitty division they've been in. I mean, people got to put into account that, sure, the Patriots were great. Yeah, they were a good team. I can't say they were a bad team. You can't say any team that wins 6 Super Bowls is a bad team, but I think they were helped along because they had to play one less game than just about every other team they played in the Super Bowl. From what I can remember, the teams that they played in the Super Bowl, some of them had to play in the wild card round, so they played another game. Football's already a difficult sport as it is. Wearing down in the body, and that extra week that they have not to play, and also their divisional round game, they always played against someone that had an upset or was just not as good, and they just pounded the snot out of them. Plus, they always had home field advantage because they had a guaranteed 5 to 6 wins every year without even trying. So I'm glad now they could be headed. Oh, okay, I can't say they're headed to the bottom yet. Maybe the Jets will prove me wrong. The Jets are looking like they made sound decisions over the last couple of years, so we'll have to wait and see on that. But I'm glad to see the Patriots will finally be down. But then also with the Patriots, like I said before, they'd win their divisional round, and then they would go have home field advantage in the championship game and probably win that more times than not. But now I'm kind of rambling here. Just one more topic. There is Deshaun Watson. I'd like to put this out there. The Deshaun Watson, I still maintain, is innocent. Over the last decade or so, with all the false Me Too allegations, he deserves to be proven innocent, or innocent until proven guilty. I need to stress that he deserves the benefit of the doubt. Even though now the allegations seem to be getting worse, they need to be corroborated. You can't just say words. You can't just say bad things that happened to you and expect people to believe you. Even though people believe Amber Heard, and obviously she's a liar. But the new allegations against Deshaun Watson are pretty bad. Even I have to admit that. I still maintain his innocence, and he deserves to have that settled out. But, I mean, if some of these allegations that are coming now are true, it is not looking good for him. And I think regardless, the NFL probably throws the book at him for a year or so. Browns, you could eat it because you gave him a guaranteed contract. $232 million. Are you insane? He's not even worth that. I'm also a Saints fan. I'm glad now, in hindsight, that they did not trade for him. My God, that would have been awful. But yeah, Deshaun Watson, things are not looking good for him. But I do maintain he deserves innocence. So I guess I've rambled on a lot. Ultimately, the main thrust of this video is that be patient on the Packers. We'll have to wait and see. Yes, Rodgers is going to be Rodgers. I mean, not going to change him. That's what we have at quarterback, but he's still our best chance at winning. So, give him a chance to change, even though he probably won't. The new young wide receivers can make the team. I mean, if you perform on special teams in the Packers, that's a surefire way to gain more playing time in other areas. So to any young NFL wide receivers on the Packers that may be watching this, just keep working at it. You'll get there. Perform on special teams, and you will make headway on the roster. It seems like that should be a great way to get there, since their special teams has been so terrible last couple years or so. I guess that's been the video today. We're releasing, I think, a new video in the next week or so. Not sure what the topic is yet. Maybe another Packer video or something game related. We'll see. Probably give my preview on the upcoming Stanley Cup Finals, which go Colorado. I think Tampa Bay probably finishes out their series and makes it to Stanley Cup Finals, which would just be an ultimate barn burner. But yeah, if you're just stumbling on through this video, please give me a like and comment if you would be so inclined. Share my content around with everybody. Subscribe. And you can hit me up on, I stream just about every night on Twitch at twitchtv.com/redheadtakes. Right now I'm finishing up Batman Arkham Asylum and Wolfenstein The New Order. Will be future games on the pod are probably Batman Arkham City and then Wolfenstein sequel, The New Colossus. So look forward to that. If you like to watch good streaming content, check me out. You can find me on TikTok at redheadtakes1 for all my Twitch stream announcements and my YouTube video updates. So I'll be releasing an update on there later today. And as always, have a great day and God bless.